Welcome back, guys. It is a horribly gloomy day outside today. It has been raining on and off for the last couple of days, and we have been struggling with a very bad case of cabin fever here. Just really needing some sunshine to soothe our souls and be able to get back outside. So ordering some snow from the weatherman because the trails are solid ice, the yard is solid ice, like even the dogs are having trouble walking around in their yard, and it's not as packed down as what the whole rest of the yard is. So I did try and take Apollo for a trail walk, and I went on a Forest Service road that led to another Forest Service road to a trail that was supposed to be like relatively good access this time of year, and I ended up sliding sideways down the hill with the truck. So I managed to get to a spot that was safe enough that I could turn around. There was like a pull-out area there, and it was very challenging to do a 3-point turn, turned into more like a 12-point turn to inch my way back down, and then just like very cautiously got back onto the main Forest Service road. I try not to do silly things when Spence is not home so that I don't get a situation where I need to call for help, because I get very irritated when people do silly things and call emergency services to come and help them. They should have just used some common sense. So I used my common sense and decided that, you know what, where I am right now, I had like just started onto the second Forest Service road, and I got like 50 feet in, and it was just solid ice, and the truck was sliding, and I was like, it's not worth it. I'm gonna turn around and get out of here before we get in a situation where it won't be good. So went to an area that is like a duck kind of like sanctuary area where there's like some more flat walking there, and that was so icy. It was treacherous wearing cleats. So the warm weather is super nice, but we could definitely do without the rain. And if precipitation is going to fall in January, I would prefer that it falls as snow. But this is winter in Canada. We always have a major warm up. It doesn't seem to matter where you live. Like, we're very far north, and we've lived very far north before, and it just seems that in January you get that January thaw and everything just turns to slop, mud, muck, whatever, and then you get just pummeled in February with more white stuff. So we could use some white powder because I want to get out cross country skiing. We would love to get out snowboarding and also get out with the snow machines. It's being the weather that it is being, and I am just in such a melancholy mood the past couple of days. The weather is just got me down big time. I love the sun, I love fresh snow, and I really enjoy being outside. So being inside, I just feel like a little like trapped bug, I guess you could say. So I decided I was gonna treat myself to some pizza. So I'm gonna make some pizza crust, and it can rise this afternoon, and I'm gonna make some pizza tonight because I have a 2-day webinar that I'm gonna be sitting on, and I think just having something quick to grab for lunch is gonna be nice as well for the next couple of days. So we're gonna get some pizza dough going. So I went to the grocery store yesterday and picked up some yeast. I know everybody's on the sourdough kick right now. I'm not. I enjoy eating sourdough bread, don't get me wrong, but I don't love sourdough being everything that I eat. So if I decide to get a sourdough, whatever you call it, jar, I'm lacking words lately, going again, I might do that, but I'm not in a huge rush by any means. I understand there's lots of benefits to it, but there's also lots of benefits to fresh milled flour and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm just gonna use up some flour that I have that is in my pantry, and then after that we will be getting some more wheat berries and getting some fresh milling happening here as well. So as you guys know, I'm not a very good baker. I'm a decent cook. I say I'm not a very good baker because I have a very short squirrel attention span when it comes to something that requires infinite amount of babysitting if I'm not in the mood to be babysitting it. So measuring ingredients, mixing things in a certain order, like I don't like to follow recipes. I measure with my heart, and I like to just like wing it. Every time I make pancakes, they're slightly different. I wing it, they always turn out. I wing a lot of things, a lot of recipes. It's like, oh, I think I might make this. And I kind of like look it up and I'm like, oh yeah, like that's what it says for ingredients. And I'm just gonna wing what I feel like putting in there and mixing up. So this will probably irritate some people. If my best friend's watching this, I'm sorry in advance. It's another measure with your heart recipe. Here we go again. When you're using yeast, you're supposed to use warm water. We're currently not drinking our tap water because the iron level in it is so high, and we still have to get our filtration system put in. So Spence was going to install it before he left, but we were having some issues with the line that we had picked up to add the filtration system in. It was not getting a tight seal. We wanted hard, like 75 PSI hose, and the only thing that the hardware store had was a very flexible hose, and so underneath that much pressure it was just leaking. So he took the filter back out and just put the hard line back in, so that I wouldn't have to be dealing with like pressure loss issues or something blowing up in the well house while he was gone. So needless to say, we're not drinking the tap water right now because of the iron situation, so I'm not using warm tap water. I'm just using our bottled water from town, and it calls for warm water. And so I had to boil the kettle, and I'm just gonna dilute my hot water, I guess, a little bit with that. And I injured my hand back in the fall. Excuse me. Sorry, honey. Ella, Mama needs in here. Can I get in here, baby? Can I get in? Thank you. Anyways, yeah, not even the fall. Yeah, it was the fall. It was like late summer, early fall. It was during harvest. Anyways, I remember that because I wasn't able to do my meals in the field. Anyways, so when I injured my wrist, it was in this area, and since then I have had major issues with like strength. Grip strength is just killer. Like I have no grip strength, so I have to, like, something so simple, open it, like that's like the same as a baby food jar, you know? So I don't know, hopefully one day it comes back full force. I used to make bread a lot when we were in Pickle, and I think I'm gonna get back to that because I really do love having homemade bread. So I know typically speaking it used to be like about 1.25 cups of water, and I don't want to make this like super hot. Oh yeah, that's just nice and warm. Perfect. Yeast likes sugar in order to work, so we're just gonna put enough sugar in there that it has something to eat. And put our water in here. Making bread and making dough is relatively easy. It doesn't take a lot of ingredients to do at all. I'm really a fan of the traditional yeast. I don't like using the ready to use yeast, and I accidentally picked that up the last time I grabbed yeast, because believe it or not, you do need to adhere to the expiry dates on this stuff. If it has expired, the likelihood of it working and it rising, slim to none. So if you are going through your pantry doing like a beginning of the year clean out, if you have expired yeast, just toss it and start over again. It's not worth the headache. I tried to salvage yeast, and it was just like, I ended up needing like 6 times the amount that I would have normally needed, and I was still having trouble getting it to like proof nicely. So that's kind of the long and the short of that. Yeah. It says to let it stand for 10 minutes. I think I'm just gonna add a little bit more. I like a good fluffy crust. So we're gonna add a little bit more. We're gonna let it stand for 10 minutes, let it do its thing, let it chew on that sugar in there, and then get to mix it in some flour and some olive oil. Pizza dough is so good when you put olive oil in it. Oh, it's just so yummy. So yeah, olive oil and a little bit of salt, and then we'll have our pizza dough ready to get going. Okay, so we have some pretty happy looking yeast, so that's good. So we're gonna go ahead and get some flour added in here and some salt and some olive oil. So like I mentioned before, measure with my heart. So for the most part, it's kind of like 3 to 4 cups of flour, and I'm just gonna kind of slowly add it in so that it's not overwhelming my water and yeast that's in here and getting like super duper lumpy. Sorry, it's loud. If this turns out, it turns out, and like if it doesn't, I'm gonna eat it anyway. So nobody panic. It's gonna be just fine. I think the olive oil gives it a really nice like flavor, and it also helps it to not stick to the pizza pan. I use a pizza stone, so I don't usually have that problem anyway. I have a ninja of a cat. All right, guys, so our dough has risen and it looks delicious. So I'm going to get a little punch and get this onto my pizza stone. I wanted to show you guys this pizza stone. So I'm sure you can probably buy them from like Amazon or Canadian Tire or whatever. This is a Pampered Chef 15-inch pan. I was gifted this like 12 years ago and it is still going strong. I love Pampered Chef, the original like clay stones and bakeware. They're amazing. You just like let it wear naturally. So you just scrape it off, wash it with water. They say not to use soap. I use a little bit of soap, bacteria, you know. But yeah, it's like, they're amazing. I absolutely love this pizza stone so much. It has survived so many moves and I'm so grateful because it is the best. And yeah, you can roll this out on your counter if you want to, but I'm just gonna roll it out on the stone because that's where it's gonna go. So there. This is gonna be a really nice thick crust pizza. Way thicker than what you can find in the grocery store, that is for sure. I really love homemade pizza. I think this is definitely something that I'm going to get back to doing. Seeing as I'm not currently commuting for work, this is just a lot more doable to throw some dough together in the afternoon and let it rise. It's just so exciting. I love homemade pizza. And you know what, you guys, treat yourself and do it on a night that is not the weekend because it just makes your week So much better. So much better. I'm going to get this out of here. Impeding my ability to roll out this dough. Flip that. The floured side down a little bit more so that it's not sticking to our pan. Get our crust rolled up. I like crust because I like to dip it. So I do not mind a crust. If you want to roll your crust and put cheese in it, that's cool too. Whatever works for you. I love salsa, and the past couple of years, all my tomatoes have gone into like stewed tomatoes and salsa. So I did make pasta sauce this year, and all our pasta sauce is already gone. So next year, or I should say this growing season here, we will have hopefully a nice long season. Alrighty, so don't skip on the pasta sauce. Pasta sauce on there, pizza sauce, whatever you got. Okay, now this is the very important part about the difference between what makes a good pizza and what doesn't make a good pizza. You ever have a piece of pizza and like the toppings like slide right off of it? This is why. Because they put the cheese on top of everything else. 2 layers of cheese. That's how it rolls. So I'm using Havarti and just cheddar because that's what I had in the fridge still. And you don't need to go like buck wild on your base layer of cheese. It's just like so that it sticks. You still want to be able to taste the sauce, right? Okay. Meat. We've got some various types of pepperonis. Obviously, if you can get nitrate free, that's the way to go. If there's a butcher near you that makes some good pepperoni that is nitrate free, obviously get it if you can, but most of the stuff you're going to buy in the store, unfortunately, is not that good. So we have got a couple places around that make pepperonis and sausages, and they are nitrate free, so that's kind of nice. I have yet to get there, so this is not as good as it could be as far as goodness for us goes. Alrighty, I pre-chopped my veggies already, so we've got onion and we've got lots of it. Like I said before, we don't like to skimp. If you're gonna make a pizza, make a pizza. So then we're still only tasting a hint of the ingredients that are on there. Oh geez. Okay, red pepper. I really like buying red peppers at No Frills because they have this like perfectly imperfect vegetable brand. Basically, it's stuff that's like odd sized and not beautiful, but it's a fraction of the price of buying vegetables in fancy supermarkets like Sobeys or Safeway or Co-op or whatever. And I don't mind whatsoever if my peppers are not all the same shape and size. Yes, a little bit of mushrooms. I was thinking about doing pineapple, but I know it's controversy, so we're not going to. I'm going to add a few of these freeze-dried tomatoes on there though, because I think that that would be quite lovely as just an extra little treat. These are seasoned. These are from friends of ours, and they're so tasty. Like, I just eat them right out of the jar. Delicious. Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit of parsley. This is from our little herb garden. Just crush up a little bit of parsley in there. I always try and dehydrate as much of this stuff as possible because I use a ton of parsley and other herbs as well. And then I have some thyme as well from our garden. Thyme's a little trickier because of the stems, but thyme adds a very nice flavor, and it's also a really good immune system booster this time of year as well. So it's really good for, oh, and it smells so good, really good for fevers, colds, flus, congestion. It's a super, super, super awesome herb. If you do not have thyme in your cupboards, you should definitely make sure to get out to the store and get some. Alrighty, we're gonna top this bad boy off with the rest of the cheese. Look at how lovely that looks. I am pumped. That thing weighs a small ton. This is like, I'm probably going to be eating pizza for days. Or what I'll do is I will take this and probably freeze some of it so that I've got a nice quick option in the freezer already ready to go for another day when I'm not feeling maybe so up to cooking. This is just going to be darling. Wow. Okay. We're gonna get this popped in the oven. Basically, rule of thumb is golden brown edges, and the dough needs to be firm. If it's not firm, it's gonna be raw. So make sure that your dough is firm. I would say you're probably going to be about 375 degrees for about 25 minutes, depending on your oven. If you have a convection oven, it might cook a little bit faster, but I usually just keep an eye on it, and when it looks done, I know. When it looks done, it comes out of the oven. So we're gonna get that in the oven, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all finished. Alrighty, moment of truth. I didn't get this in the oven quickly enough, and my dough kind of puffed up a little bit more, so like we're like right on the edge of this pizza pan. So cutting it is a little bit more challenging than what it probably needs to be, but that's okay. So that's what she looks like, straight out of the oven, so it's piping hot still. So hot. Probably could have let it sit for a minute before I did this, but absolutely delicious. So whatever you like to use for dipping sauce, ranch, Caesar, throw a little bit of hot sauce on there. I'd enjoy. So the verdict is that it's absolutely delicious. So darn good. I'm really glad that I did this. This just makes my soul feel a little bit happier after the very melancholy mood that I have been having the past day. Look at how perfect that crust is. Oh, delicious. If you've been hesitating about making homemade pizza, I hope this is inspiration to go and make it, because it is worth every bite. Have a good night, guys.